Good, YouTube? How are y'all doing? And yes, I had to bring the fro out because pretty soon I'm gonna be getting some braids. I'm gonna let y'all see what that looks like on one of the next videos. I think I'm gonna get it done next week, so y'all will see it towards like one of my last videos. But today's video is gonna be a good one. It's about why we feel so behind as people. And I feel like it was a good video to put out because when I was coming up to think about a video to react to, I was like, why not react to a video that directly correlates with something with people's lives, you know? And I was like, I can feel this way sometimes. I know some other people feel this way sometimes. And I feel like it'd be best to make a video about it, reacting to somebody else talk about it. So without further ado, make sure you guys are subbing up. We're on the road to 1K. And let's get into the video.
Everyone around you seems like they have it figured out, and you're just kind of sitting there, wondering when it's your turn. And the worst part is, you don't even know why you feel that way. You're not lazy, you're not stupid, so why does it feel like that everyone got a head start that you never got? I didn't get my license until I was 18, not even my government ID. But everyone I knew in school had their license at 16 and their car. And it's not even about the license, it's what came with not having it. Like, my friends would make plans and I'd have to ask my mom to drop me off. And if she didn't, then that was it. And they could have picked me up, you know, it wasn't far, they just didn't. They would go without me and I would find out later. I would probably see it on my friend's story. And I tried not to see it like as mean, but you know, it kind of was. Like, you already feel behind everyone, and then the people closest to you can't even be bothered to come get you. You know, same thing with school. People knew what they wanted to do in their lives with like actual confidence. You know, I'm going into nursing. I got a scholarship. One of my close friends was the first or second best student in the state. It's pretty crazy. And I'm sitting there with genuinely nothing. No direction, no plan, no idea, you know. I wasn't stupid. I just had nothing to show for it. And watching
I feel like this take could have come from like social media and stuff like that. You know, feeling like you're behind other people. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I feel like it would. You know, how he said he was seeing on his friend's story and stuff like that. I feel like that's exactly what the feeling would be, or where he would get that feeling from.
people have a plan when you don't does something to you. You start wondering if they just know something you don't. It's basically like, you know, everyone got told the next step and you missed that announcement. It's basically like that. Another thing I can think of is like, I had a friend whose stuff was blowing up online. I was trying to figure out my channel, and at some point I just started copying what he was doing. He was doing Roblox videos, so I did Roblox videos. And I didn't even like the games on Roblox at the time. Like, at all. There was no good games. I could not care less. But I thought maybe if I do what he's doing, it'll work for me too. So I just kept making videos about games on Roblox I did not like because they were stupid. They're so dumb, and they're, you know, they were made for kids. That's what got a lot of views. And the whole time I knew, you know, this wasn't...
Now that's where he is, right? Because what's it called? These kid videos, like where they can use like straight up AIs and stuff like that to make their videos, they make so much money. They get so many views. They make crazy money too. Like, at first I was like, maybe I should make a faceless channel of me just playing around with some toys, or I could just see my hands on the thing playing with some toys. But then I thought about it for a second. I was like, that's not something I want to do. I wanted to make, you know, actual videos that I actually care about, that don't just feel like it's like a business. But like, if you see one day and I'm done retire, if I'm retiring on YouTube and you see one day there's this random toy channel that pops off, there's a chance it's me.
But I kept going anyway because at least I was doing something. And obviously, it didn't work. It just slowed me down and wasted time I could have spent figuring out what I wanted to actually do. But the worst part wasn't even that I failed. The worst part was watching him grow a lot while I was just trying to copy him. Like, it was insane. And it's not that I'm jealous. It was that I was doing YouTube for like 6 years, right? And his first like 3 months, he just had it going. And it was like, wow. It's like, that's crazy. Lucky guy. And I was so miserable that even in games, I was bad. and I'd count that as like something. It's like really dumb to bring that up, but when you're already in like that headspace where everything feels like you're falling short on your brain, you just get like any reason to hate on yourself. Like I sucked at FPS games and that was all I did. It's like, what? So how can I suck at something I only do? And you know when like people ask you, you know, what are you gonna do after school? I went to dinner with my girlfriend's grandparents, right? And at some point they asked me, you know, what do you want to do with your life after high school? You know, are you gonna go to college? This, whatever. I didn't have a clean answer. I think I said something along the lines, you know, I'm still figuring it out, or you know, I'm thinking something like that. And man, they gave me that look. You know, it wasn't like mean, a little bit, but it was like unsure that you know I was the right person for my girlfriend. And wow, that was horrible. Like I don't remember what I said exactly, but they were judging me hard. And so when you're feeling behind, it's not like in one place, it's everywhere. It bleeds into everything. You're scrolling Instagram and you see people that you know and they're like holding their college banners with like their names on it, or like the acceptance letters, and it's like blank college, here I come, and their families.
Well, I mean, yeah, I agree with that. So sorry I wasn't talking for a second, but I feel like we're built on comparison. In this aspect he's talking about, I feel like our society is built on comparison in a certain way, like where it's like if you don't have this or that, or if you're not ready for this or that, you're behind someone else. And I feel like that shouldn't be the case. I feel like you should feel as you're right where you are because that's where you're supposed to be. Like it's always the challenge to try and be more than you are, or try and be someone else that you're not, so you can get farther or get ahead like that person you're trying to be like, and it just doesn't work. Like in the very beginning, that's what I had tried to do with my YouTube channel. If you go see like some of my faceless videos when I was doing faceless content in 2024, I think around 2024 I was doing those videos, and it was like I just wanted to make them so I could blow up and then just make money without having to show my face. Excuse me. Excuse me. I was only looking at it from the money aspect. I was not looking at it from like do you actually enjoy this? And then I remember back to when I was younger, there's like a channel of me out there when I was like way younger, somewhere out there, where I would do like faceless gameplay videos. And that's when I remembered to this channel I have now that I actually was wanting to do YouTube, found the reason why I wanted to do YouTube, because it was a dream of mine ever since I was little. And I feel like that's what everyone has to find. They have to find that thing, you know? And you shouldn't feel like you're behind until you have found that thing. Like if you haven't found that thing that you really want to do, you shouldn't feel behind because you're not doing what somebody else really wants to do, you know?
Celebrating it, and it's a whole, you know, big deal. And then someone just got like a new car, someone just moved into their own place, and your brain is just like quietly adding that to the list. And then you close Instagram, go back to doing whatever you were doing, and you're just sitting there like, damn, like this kind of sucks. And you can't really talk about it with people, because how do you explain that to someone without sounding jealous? This whole video just sounds like me being jealous. You can't just say that it bothers you to that person that, you know, has stuff going for them. You can't say, you know, I feel like everyone has something figured out and I don't, because then you look, you know, insecure, tiny, you look dumb. So you just keep it in and it sits there just kind of rotting. That whole idea. Your brain just compares. You know, I've said this in a video once where it's just all your brain wants to do with people. Unless you get out of that mindset on your...
It's kind of like how people say comparison is the thief of joy. And I agree with that, because, you know, when you're comparing yourself all the time, you're just like, is what I am not enough? Like, am I not enough? It's like, if you haven't even found yourself, you know, how do you know if you're enough yet? How do you know what is enough? I don't know. I don't know if that made sense. Maybe it did. But, yeah.
Your own. But most of the times, you know, you're set to default by just watching what other people do and comparing that to your life. But the problem is that we have way more ways to see people's lives. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, even YouTube. So you are just constantly surrounded by people online, and you're, naturally just comparing yourself to them. And so you build this timeline in your head without even realizing it. At 16, you should have your license. At 17, you should have a part-time job, and then your car. At 18, you should have a plan. And then when you're 20 or 22, you should have something to show for it. And it's like a lot of those things are just not gonna happen as planned. Like, some people don't even get their first car till they're 20. And you're just going down this list and checking things off that you don't have done. And every time that you come up short, it just confirms what you already expected, that you're behind, that everyone else is moving on, and you're still standing there doing nothing with your horrible, miserable life. But I would like to say that the timeline you're making in your head is not real. No one really made it for you. You just watched the people around you, and your brain made up rules from it. He got his blank at whatever age, so should I. She got a whatever it is at something, so I'm also behind.
And that again goes into the fact of me saying, do not compare yourself in aspects of other people's life, because their aspects of their life may not apply to your life. And it's like a hard thing to grasp in the human brain system, because we always are like, oh, I have to have this, or I have to be like them, or to get a higher status or a higher feeling. And it's sometimes it feels like it's built off of insecurity. Like, the fat person wants to become skinny, or the skinny person wants to get more weight on their body, or or let's see, the person that doesn't have a car wants the car, or the person that has the car wants the plane, or the person that has nothing just wants the bike, or the person that has the bike wants the car, and the person that has the car wants the plane. That's how that scale. Like, wherever you're at as a person, you're always gonna be like, oh man, looking at somebody else wanting, and you have to try and get rid of that want to be, or to have something that you don't have yet. And it's okay to want it. Like, don't get me wrong, it's okay to want it, but like, you have to, let's see, how am I gonna put this? You have to be okay where you are. There we go. You have to be okay where you are, and know that all of those things that you want will happen in due time when you put the work towards them. But you don't have to feel like, oh, you're missing out, or oh, you're not enough because you don't have these things you want immediately. I feel like that's where it comes from. But yeah.
But you comparing yourself to those people is basically saying, oh yeah, I'm behind. But what is behind? You looking at what people have that either grew up, with the upper hand, or people that genuinely worked for what they have.
Now see, I'm sorry to interrupt the video again, but what is being behind? That's the point. Because where they're at, let's say somebody has the car, you don't have a car. Maybe that person with the car is not worried about the same. They're not worried about the same things you are. You're worried about getting that car. That's like, you're on that level. But that person with the car is worried about, I don't know, getting the plane. Let's say getting a plane. They don't want to drive anymore. I don't know. Their want for that plane is the same want you have for that car, almost putting you on the same level of where they're at in life. Because them with that car and their want for that plane is the same as you with no car and that want for that car. If you kind of understand. And it's not like you're behind. You're both on the same level of comparing yourself to, or wanting more than what you have, or thinking you're behind. You're both the same. Kind of.
And that's the actual reason why you feel behind. Not because you are behind, but because you're measuring yourself against people that aren't you. You're looking at other people's lives, and you see these specific things and not the full picture or the gap at all. You see your friend doing well. Well, what did he do to do well? That could be hard work, timing, luck. It's stuff that you don't know about. And sometimes, you see people who know exactly what they want to do, but you don't see the other half of them that are just saying something that sounds good because, they're kind of worried too. And I see those people months later, and I ask them, are you still wanting to do that? And they're like, no, Not at all. No, not anymore. And the copying thing is its own problem, because when you're behind and see someone winning, you don't stop to think why their thing works. You just think, I need to do that. So you do their thing, and it doesn't.
Now, I don't know if this has anything, like if this is kind of what he's saying about or anything like that, but I feel like it's like when people say, always be yourself, because whenever you're putting up a character or out here being a character and, you know, to appease how people feel or do like, okay, hang on, scratch that. Let's say this in the same way. Hang on. Okay, so you are tired of being yourself because you feel like being yourself does not get you, I don't know, friends or popularity, right? So you put up a character. You become that character, you're basically you're not being yourself, not being authentic. And then that gets you all the popularity and stuff like that, right? But they're not popular, you're not popular or friends because you were yourself. You're popular for being a whole different person. That's not you, that's not what you like, and it's just what everyone else likes because you want to be cool. But the minute you want to be yourself and tired of putting that character on, there's gonna be people that are like, "Who are you? What do you? Who is this guy?" They're gonna be tired of you. They're not gonna want to be around you anymore because those people were only there for the character. That's why I think you should always be by yourself. Be yourself. Be authentic at all times. That's what I think.
Didn't work because it was never your thing. You know you wasted time, and you're still behind. And you feel worse than before because at least you didn't fail. And so your brain is just gonna go, man, I just can't do this. I just suck at this. I'm horrible. They just have it so much better and easier than me. And so that emotion that you're feeling, I'm just gonna assume, hundreds of thousands of like teenagers feel the exact same way. Your friend who knew what they wanted to do at 17 probably feels behind in something else, but nobody will say any of it because they're embarrassed to admit it. You don't want to be that person who says out loud that they feel behind. So there are multiple people walking around in school or I don't know, at your job that feels behind in some way. And like, I can't genuinely tell you to stop comparing yourself to other people. Your brain just does it on its own. Unless you get out of that habit, which is pretty hard to do, you can't just stop. Even with me, on YouTube Analytics, I can see what my fans are watching or what channels they like. And all the channels that are similar to me.
Hello.
Do you want to play with me?
Sure. You want me to help you with your groceries? Yeah. This journey with childhood.
I'm at the bottom. Granted, it's still like niche communities. There's no million subscriber amounts, but I will still see my sub count and look at theirs. I will see their view counts and look at mine, and I'll be like, wow, it's either I suck or I hate those people. But why? So what I've been trying to do lately, I've been trying to catch that feeling. Try noticing when that happens. I'm looking at this person's life. I'm looking at their, their YouTube channel, whatever. It could be anything. But even if I'm on Instagram and I see like a 17-year-old with like a Lamborghini, I don't really like Lamborghinis. But like as an example, and if that's like a goal I want to achieve, I'm gonna think about how grateful I am for what I have and how am I gonna work myself to get to that point instead of just thinking, and they said being 20 your life's over, try being 19. Like something stupid. I don't know. But realistically, it's like, what are you gonna do? Just keep complaining? And so what, even if I am jealous about people that are more popular than me on YouTube, it's like, what am I gonna do about it? And for the history of YouTube, people will always blame luck.
The algorithm won't push my video. What's going on? It's so good.
That is a factor, but when people do see your video and it sucks, they're gonna get off of it, and then your video doesn't get pushed. And that's what was happening with those Roblox videos. I wasn't good at that, but my friend had it perfected. So try perfecting the things you already have going for you.
So I'm saying be yourself. Always start off with being yourself, and then people that like you being yourself will build your fan base.
So how am I going to get, that amount of subscribers that this person has? I'm gonna make the videos good. I'm gonna make my intros different, make them cinematic, add shaders to my videos, edit the gameplay, make it interesting. Because I know there's people that listen, but they also watch too. So I made changes in my videos, and that's what got me to at least 40K. So why don't you make those same improvements in your real life? You know, a little bit of food for thought. I think I got my point across. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. You're probably watching me to eat your food, so if you want to see more of them, just subscribe. I have a Discord server link.
But yeah, that was a W video. I agree with what he was saying about all the you know, people comparing themselves to others and why you would feel behind, because you comparing yourself to someone, or you're feeling behind somebody when you really shouldn't, or like you feel behind even though that person is not really ahead of you. You're at the same, but you're just comparing and comparing and comparing, and you'll always feel like you're behind. If that made sense. I feel like if you compare yourself often, then there'll always be some way to feel like you're behind. But if you just work hard at something, be yourself, and rock with it, I think you'd be cool. And always be yourself. Always be authentic. Always, please. That's what I try to promote. But yeah, this was a really good video. I like watching videos like this where we actually can talk about, you know, good conversation about, you know, mental health. It's like a notebook, you know. It's like instead of writing in a notebook, I'm making videos to be able to talk to other people about it that may feel the same or may not. But yeah. That's about all I got to say to y'all. Make sure y'all are subbing up. We're on the road to 1K. Comment your opinion on all this because, you know, I want to see y'all side from it. And, yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Wait, whoa. Hang on. Stay happy, stay peaceful of God. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.